Hello, my name is Marcia Foster and I work for the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards. Today I'm going to provide the Atlas Organization Administrator training to you. There are going to be two parts to this training, and this will be part one. When you're an Atlas Organizational Administrator, that's the role in Atlas where you have the most permissions. So when you log into Atlas, what you'll see on your dashboard, when you open your dashboard up, is a link that says organization settings. No one else will see that link. When you click into that link, you're going to see you'll have access to 5 pages that, again, no other role in Atlas will have access to. On the first page, you will have it's completely optional what you can do on this page. You have 3 things that you can do. If you don't like the way the name of your school is written out, you can click on the icon there and you can change the way we wrote it. You also have an opportunity to upload a cover image by clicking on change cover and pulling an image from your image library or your pictures, wherever you save your image files. That image will appear in everyone's dashboard that's a member of your organization in the upper left. And the third thing you can do is you can upload an image for all your groups. So anyone who creates a group in Atlas will have an image that looks like the one that you upload, unless they decide while creating a group to upload their own image. Once you've done all of that, you click on Save Changes and you're done with the settings page. The second and one of the most important pages that you will be working on in Atlas is the users page. This is the page where you manage users. So you can see in the organization that I'm in right now, which is our National Board organization, all the users who are currently in this organization. There are 2 ways that you can add users to Atlas. The first way is you click on the new button. Here you can just add 1 user at a time. First name, last name, and email. And then those 3 roles I mentioned, you can decide whether or not you want this person to be an administrator like you. As many people can be administrators as you'd like. Whether the person's an instructor. Typically in a school district, teacher leaders, coaches, mentors, and in an educator prep program, your faculty, your instructors would be in the instructor role. And then students. Students would be considered students in an educator prep program. They could be teachers in a school district. There are a couple of differences between the instructor role and the student role. Instructors get to create groups and have access to our resources. Students can be members of groups. They don't create groups and they don't have access to the resources. There are a couple of other smaller differences and those are articulated in our Help Center. So once you decide the role, you click Add, and that person's name will appear in this list as pending. They will also receive a system email from Atlas telling them that you have invited them to the Atlas organization and giving them an opportunity to complete their account setup. In Atlas, your email address, the one that you use to add them, is their email/username. So all they're doing is creating a password. The email that they will receive will be coming from Atlas support. So they have to know to open up that email is fine for them to open. If they tell you they don't receive the email, you can click their name and click re-invite. They'll get the email will be sent to them again. But it's also really important to know they don't need to receive that email in order for them to complete their account setup. They can simply go to our login page at atlas.nbpts.org and click on Forgot Your Password. Enter in the email address that you use to add them to Atlas, and they'll be able to complete their account setup. Once they complete they set their password and accept the terms of services, their status will go from pending to active. So as you can see on this page, you can, the first name, last name, email address, role status, the join date is the date that you added them to Atlas. A last login is the date that they last logged into Atlas, and there's also an edit button. All of these columns can be sorted except for the edit. You can also search on a person's name up here if you don't want to scroll through the list. So I showed you the first way to add a user is through the new button. The second way to add several users at a time is that you can bulk upload them. You do that by clicking on this import button. You'll see this download user roster template. Click on it and it's going to download. It's right here in the lower left. When I open it up, it gives me the opportunity to add in the first name, last name, the email address of the person, and then in D column, not only the organization name, although it says organizations, you're adding in two types of information. The name of the organization, no space, colon, no space, and then the role. It's important to enter in the name of the organization exactly the way it's written on that settings page or in your dashboard. So let's go back and take a look. On the settings page, MBPTS all caps, it's cap sensitive, or case sensitive, I'm sorry. It's also located here in your dashboard. You'll get an error message if you don't enter in the organization name correctly. Again, no space, colon, no space, and then the role. That's for a student, the word student with a capital S. If you're adding an instructor, you would add the word instructor with a capital I. And if you're adding an admin, another admin, you would type in the word admin with a capital A. Go ahead and then add in all the information, all your students, all your instructors, first name, last name, email, and all that information under column D. Save this to wherever you want, you save your files. Then you will go ahead and upload the file. Once you do that, you'll see the file name to the right, and then click on import. If you have successfully imported, if you have successfully completed that .csv spreadsheet, you will get a successful message. If there's anything wrong with the spreadsheet, you're going to see some error messages. The organization name is the most frequent error. However, if, for example, you entered in an email wrong, you formatted it incorrectly on maybe row 20 of that spreadsheet, you're going to see something that says line 20 error email address. Now, all the other information will have been successfully uploaded. So all the other users will have been uploaded. Just the one with that error will not upload, and you'll have to go and correct it and upload it again. Okay, so once you've done that, all of those people at one time will be notified via email that they have been added to Atlas by you and to complete their account setup. A couple of things to think about with respect to those of you who are adding students this way. The first is to remind your students to use their school email if that's the email address you're using to add them to Atlas. Sometimes they use their personal email and they're unable to access Atlas. I've also developed a student walkthrough document that you could send to all of your students. You can modify it if you'd like. I have the Word version. If you'd like the Word version, just reach out to me using the support tab and say, send me the Word version of this so I can modify it. But if you're okay with what we've developed in the Help Center, you can use that. How do you access that? Go up to your dashboard, click on Help Center, click on, and then keyword search, student walkthrough. Here it is right here. And here, this is a one-page document, just welcoming students to Atlas, explaining to them what it is, what their Atlas URL is, how to set up their account. Third and final page I'm going to cover today that you have access to as an Atlas organizational administrator. Oh, one important thing to remember. As an Atlas organizational administrator, you manage users. So not only do you add them, you can remove them during the course of your subscription term. So for example, if you're noticing somebody's been pending for quite some time, or they haven't logged in quite some time, you can just click on their name and deactivate them, and that frees up the space for another person because you have a limit in the number of licenses you purchased. But you can manage to that limit by removing people, students who are not using Atlas. Maybe the students dropped a class, maybe there's a faculty member who decided not to use Atlas. You can just go in, see who's pending, remove, deactivate them from Atlas, and it will free up a space for someone else. The way the Atlas user license works is that if you purchase a 50 user license, for example, that means at no time can you go over 50, but during the course of your subscription, you can add people, you can remove people, that's completely up to you. And you can assign any of the roles that you want to assign to them. The third and final page that I'm going to go review today in this video will be the groups page. There'll be a part 2 of this training where we'll talk about case analytics and user analytics. So the groups page. So in Atlas, you have an option to create groups. You would create groups for a couple of reasons. You create them if you want your students to be able to go up into their dashboard, see the name of the group that you created, which could be the name of a class. They click in, and then they'll have access to the cases that you want them to review or watch. There'll be some instructions provided. If you want to share annotations, you would create a group. We have faculty, teacher leaders who use the group features, some who don't. Those in the instructor role can create groups, but sometimes in some scenarios and some institutions, they want their Atlas organizational administrator to do it for them. That's why this page is here and available to you. So when you click on this groups page, first thing you're going to see is all the groups that have been created in Atlas in your organization, the name of the group, the leader, the number of people, members in that group, number of cases saved to that group. To create a new group for someone, you would just click on that new button, and then you would enter in a group name, a description that could later be modified by that group leader if they'd like to modify it. And then these names are all instructors, and you would just select which instructor it is, who's going to be the leader of that group, and click add. And it will appear this way. Initially, you won't see any members or any cases because you haven't added any members and cases. If you wanted to do that for the instructor, you can click in to this, and you'll then be able to start adding users to the group, and you'll also have the capability of saving cases to the group. But the group functionality and how to create groups and invite users and all of that is covered in our faculty training and our teacher leader training. There's also more information available on the group functionality in our Help Center. So that wraps up part 1 of the Atlas Organizational Administrator Training. If you would like to learn about these last 2 pages, which are analytics that explain how Atlas is being used in your organization, you will want to take a look at the video that is the Atlas Organization Administrator Training Part 2. Thank you for using Atlas as a resource in your school. Do not hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions by clicking on the support tab. And have a great day.